One event remains for the teams here on the final day of competition in Madison, Wisconsin at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. Thanks for being with us here on the Rogue Iron Game, everyone. I am Sean Woodland, being joined by Invictus X member Margot Alvarez and Chase Ingram. Margot, thank you so much for joining us. This is your first experience as a member of a team at the CrossFit Games. How was it for you?
It was incredible. We didn't have much time to prepare, but it was an awesome experience, great group dynamic with the team, and I'm really grateful we had the opportunity to be out on that floor.
Invictus X finishing 7th overall, an outstanding placement for them, as now the final 5 teams take the floor. Invictus will head out first. Now they need to beat Krypton by 2 spots in order to finish in 2nd place. They currently sit in 3rd place overall. CrossFit Krypton, the team of Cody Mooney, Alex Smith, Camila Blanc-Bazinet, and Jessica Griffith. And now Mayhem Freedom, they have already mathematically locked up their 2nd straight Affiliate Cup championship here in Madison. As long as they complete the minimum work requirement, they have 719 points, more than 173 up on CrossFit Krypton. Invictus sits in 3rd. OC3 Black is in 4th. In order for them to get onto the podium, they have to beat Invictus by 1 spot.
And that's the craziest part of all of this, is that the team point scales coming into this final event is like over 20 points, separating place finishes in this final event.
The trio is team event 9. They'll work in male-female pairs. 30 clean and jerks, that's Grace, 30 muscle-ups, and then Isabel, 30 snatches.
Looking at it right off the bat, you know, you have this, you got to, in my opinion, and Margo, you can attest to this, is that put your fastest people first to get out of the way of the ones behind them.
Final 5 teams on the floor, just 1 heat in this 9th and final event for the teams. And for that team, this is a formality. Based on what they've done earlier in the competition, they have locked up their 2nd straight Affiliate Cup championship. Krypton trying to hang on to 2nd, Invictus trying to hang on to 3rd, and OC3 Black trying to work their way onto the podium. We are underway. They will work in pairs. They have to complete 30 reps each. Once they complete this, the next pair will get onto the floor. It's going to be Cody Mooney and Jessica Griffith.
Tell you what, right off the bat, this is a much more aggressive pace than I thought I would see from these teams based off the total volume of work they have ahead of them.
China Cho and Dre Strom will start for Mayhem Freedom. The Central Beasts, they currently sit in 5th place overall. It's Joseph Totora, the first male on the floor for them. Invictus is your leader. They are through 16 of the 30 reps in this event. For OC3, that is Luke Schaefer and Andrea Nisler on the floor for them, Dre Strom and China Cho. What do you think the key to this event is, Margot?
I'm looking at it, and I think going out hot a little bit in the beginning is important, like you said, to kind of get ahead, but you have to know that you can't put everything in that first 10 or 20 reps because you still have another 10 to finish off the 30, but then you still have 2 other workouts per se to get through. And again, you're doing them as pairs, so that might give you an incentive to go a little faster, but then you have to still be able to recover for the next movement.
We saw Emma Chapman and Joseph Totora there a second ago for the Central Beach. They're the first 2 out for their team.
And part of the reason why they're going so fast is because once they finish their 30, the next pair comes behind them to do their 30. So they're actually going to get some break moving into the muscle-ups, but I think sometimes people don't really understand the compounding effect when you marry clean and jerks with muscle-ups, because it's almost like the muscle-up is that gymnastic version of that same pull to catch the press style of move.
Yeah, pull, catch, and then a press. And this is the first time I think we're actually seeing the teams getting some rest in that workout. And I talked to one of the other teams saying all the workouts have kind of been, we're all working together individually, but as a group. This is a little different.
Invictus, they are your leaders. They are through 40 of the initial 60 reps here.
So I'm going to amend my statement earlier about who to put first.
This early, huh?
And what you're thinking about is like you do want to get your athletes out early, but in this style of change between the athletes where the second pair in the beginning is moving forward, but the first pair matters when the event starts. It's to get your team out to a quick end. But the second pair matters the most for the event's finish. So putting putting your two best athletes, we saw Rich and Tasia, at the end when they can close the distance for time is actually the important position to put your best two.
Yeah, and I think if you look at these movements, it's 30 muscle ups, a classic workout that is sandwiched between two barbell workouts. So I feel that will be a determining factor on some of the teams.
Invictus still your leaders, but coming close to finishing up this first portion of the final event. Once they hit 60 repetitions on the scoreboard at the top of your screen, the leader's name highlighted in a blue box, and the reps that team has completed will be in the white box. The teams that trail, their names will be listed in a red box, and the numbers in the white box will indicate how many reps they are behind the leader. So Invictus is now done, and Tommy Venus and Lauren Fisher hop up for their sets of 30 muscle-ups. They are in the lead. Invictus in third place overall, trying to hold off OC3 Black for the final spot on the podium.
As we move from Grace, 30 clean and jerks for time, to the middle portion of this event. I'm surprised 30 muscle-ups doesn't have its own name by now, because it is a benchmark style workout.
It is, and we saw it last year at the 2018 games. Individuals did the 30 muscle-ups for time. Again, not surprised that it came out. So for it to come out again this year, it's like, all right, we're seeing it twice, back to back.
In my opinion, athletes have to be very careful in the middle portion of this event because they had some rest after they started with Grace as their second pair went. But when it comes to ring muscle-ups, yes, it's 30 for time, but it's not like getting fatigued on a barbell. You get fatigued on muscle-ups, they go away, and then you just get to stand there and look at them for the next few minutes.
Meanwhile, CrossFit Krypton, by the scoreboard, has taken the lead from Invictus.
Well, think about who your first lead athletes are for CrossFit Krypton. You got Alex Smith and Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet.
Muscle ups for days.
You would assume they would be terrible at the middle portion of this event. I have no idea how they pulled ahead of everybody.
There's some sarcasm in your voice there.
Sarcasm for you, for those listening at home.
Joseph Tortora on the left of your screen, jumping up for his muscle-ups for the Central Beasts, who's coming into this event in 5th place overall. They were the last team inside the last cut line after the prior event. The team swim paddle.
It's close with the CrossFit Krypton and Invictus, like back-to-back, 1 rep, 2 reps, but then they catch back up. So it's going to be a close race to the end. It's going to come down to being able to push that pace, but staying close and make sure you don't hit that point of no return where you hit fatigue and you can't continue to do reps.
What about that point of no return, knowing how you would handle this event, what scheme would you advise other teams going into to tackle these 30 muscle-ups in the middle?
I mean, making sure you have your best muscle-up person, individual or group, in that spot to start. Again, you get to the rings and you want to get through those rings as a big chunk right in the front. Again, once you hit that fatigue, then you're going to start to slow down. So that's going to be most important. China, I know, is really good on muscle-ups, so having her obviously on the rings are going to be important. But again, you have all these teams with those individuals. You got to pick and choose which person's going to go where, and in what order. And obviously Krypton, they're taking the lead right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how if they can continue to push that into the next movement.
CrossFit Krypton trying to hold off Invictus. Mayhem Freedom, they sit in 3rd place. OC3 Black, meanwhile, they are in 5th place in this heat, and they have got to beat Invictus by 1 if they want to get themselves on the podium. 2014 fittest woman on earth, Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet for CrossFit Krypton, and just having no problem working through these 30 muscle-ups.
I think about this event that sets up for her and CrossFit Krypton is like you got barbell cycling and you have gymnastics in an event. So leading up with Alex Smith and Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet is a good way to set that team up.
Good combination of individuals.
CrossFit Krypton, as Mayhem Freedom has moved into second. We have seen this all competition long. Mayhem Freedom starts a little slow, but then they slowly build up, and by the end, there they are in the lead.
That's what they do, and oftentimes it's a little deceptive of how Mayhem Freedom starts events, because like you said, it's usually in the back of the pack, and then they move towards the end. And it's not that they get faster, it's that they never slow down. They start with a perfect, trained pace for every event, and as other teams falter towards the end, Mayhem's pace just keeps moving through.
CrossFit Krypton is through 95 of what should be 180 total scored repetitions. CrossFit Krypton just ahead of Mayhem Freedom, and Invictus, they started with the early lead, but they have now dropped back to third place.
As I'm looking at how to structure these teams, we've kind of been going back and forth and where to place your best athletes and why. I'm looking at Isabel. Isabel being the final portion of this event, and it really comes down to how fast is your last pair. So you see that you have Rich and Tasia anchors for their team. You would think you would probably not have Tasia as the, we said the last pair is the timekeeper.
Yeah.
Tasia not being as strong at muscle-ups as, say, trying to choke. But when you put both Rich and Tasia on a barbell with Isabel at the end, that's how you really pick these teams, is who's going to be your best pair at the end of this event, not necessarily the first two portions.
Exactly, and it's not necessarily how you start the workout. Obviously efficiency and your ability to get going is important, but how do you finish? Like, can you finish strong in that workout? Can the pair close it when they need to? That's going to come obviously down to this workout and down to that last movement. And Isabel's a great, that single barbell movement, so how can they finish strong with that?
CrossFit Krypton now through 106 of the 180 scored repetitions. We're past the 9-minute 30 mark as Cody Mooney and Jessica Griffith on the right of your screen are working through their set of 30 muscle-ups. Tasia Persevich and Rich Froning on the rings for Mayhem. Now OC3 Black, meanwhile, they have moved up into a battle for second. Now that is huge for them because they need to beat Invictus by 1 to get themselves onto the podium. That's Taylor Williamson hopping off the rings for OC3. And the team from Davenport, Iowa is now starting to put a little pressure here on the leaders.
Krypton and Mayhem back to back. 1 rep and then another rep. They're so close to fall.
Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet on the right of your screen. They are waiting for the pair of Cody Mooney and Jessica Griffith to finish up. CrossFit Krypton, they are your leaders as they try to hang on to second place overall and wind up with a silver medal on the podium.
When you approach 30 ring muscle-ups, you'd be surprised. The first 20 is drastically different than the last 10, and is exponentially different than the last 5. You get through the first 20, you're like crushing it.
I feel great.
No problem. Then you get to 25 and you're like, what happened to my body?
Where'd my triceps go? And it's obviously your strategy on how you're going to approach 30 muscle-ups after 30 clean and jerks is going to be a lot different versus just the 30 muscle-ups by itself. So not going in a big chunk in the beginning is probably going to serve you a better purpose, and breaking it into smaller chunks, and that's going to be different for each athlete.
That pacing in the middle of 30 muscle-ups is so important because you don't really want to think about time or numbers. Like, this should take about 3 to 4 minutes. What is the best way to break this up to fit that time frame, not necessarily rep scheme?
Exactly. And Cheyenne and I were on the team back in 2015 for the Invitational, and when we did 30 muscle-ups in practice, it wasn't necessarily about doing big sets, but about taking 3 to 5 reps and consistently going through and finishing that.
Mayhem Freedom, they are now the first team on to Isabel. So 60 more reps for them to go there in the middle of your screen. They don't need to win. But that wouldn't be like Rich Froning.
I'm sure Rich is just going to take this one off. Yeah, he's not going to try to win at all.
Trying to go out in style.
This is more my speed of barbell cycling towards the end here. I'm all about the singles.
And now Invictus has moved into third as they try to hang on to the final spot on the podium. Invictus on the left of your screen, they are on the barbell as well for their final 60 total repetitions. Each pair will complete 30 each.
And the important part here is the next pair can't advance until both are done. So say the female athlete finishes her 30, her partner can't start until the male partner is done with his.
CrossFit Krypton now battling with Mayhem Freedom for the lead. Both of them through 136 of the 180, scored repetitions in this event. Luke Schaefer on the barbell for OC3 is at one point in this event, they were challenging for second place. Now, CrossFit Krypton and Mayhem Freedom continue to trade first. Invictus, they are in third, and OC3 is trying to hunt them down right now. They are currently in fourth. Lauren Fisher and Tommy Venus on the barbell on the left of your screen for Invictus.
You saw in the beginning that a few of the athletes, like Camille and a couple others, started to do a couple reps, 2 to 3 reps connected. Now, obviously, it's a lot of fast singles. I think it's getting to the point where you're going to be a little faster with the fast singles versus trying to hold on to that bar and then taking rest after, especially when you know you have a pair of people behind you waiting to pick up that bar.
Rich Froning and Tasia Persevich running the anchor leg for Mayhem Freedom. 30 reps to go. And 30 reps between them and a 4th affiliate championship. Rich Froning won 4 as an individual, now trying to match that as a member of a team. It would give him 8 gold medals for his career and 2 silver.
Unbelievable to do that over 10 years.
You go to the Froning house, they're probably using some of those medals as coasters. They have so many. I mean, it's insane.
Melt them down into flatware.
Luke Schaefer and Andrea Nisler are on the barbell for OC3.
Krypton right behind Freedom, and then Invictus right behind Krypton. Reagan going for multiples.
Rich Froning won his 4th individual title when he completed double Grace. This event started with Grace. It's going to end with Isabel. So once again, it's a benchmark barbell event that stands between Rich Froning and a 4th title. Five total reps now for Mayhem Freedom. CrossFit Krypton, they sit in second. Invictus is in third. Invictus is trying to hold off OC3 Black for the final spot on the podium. CrossFit Krypton trying to finish second. Tasia Persevich to finish up. 2 in a row, 4 total. Another title is coming to Cookeville.
What a strong finish.
They're going to have to build another barn for all the jerseys and trophies.
Need more space down there.
Krypton is in. That's going to lock up second place. Now the battle is between Invictus and OC3. Invictus is going to win that. They will wind up in third place. And OC3 is going to be 1 spot off the podium in 4th. Williamson and Persanti trying to close things out here. OC3 has had a really solid competition. Consistent throughout. The lowest they were ever in this competition were 14th, and they started to march up the leaderboard, and since then they've hovered between 4th and 6th.
That consistency pays off.
Here comes OC3 to lock up 4th place in the event. I know not the finish that they were looking for, but a tremendous effort from them and from all the teams that were here in what was an extremely entertaining team competition at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. The Central Beasts, the only team left on the floor. They have already locked up 5th place overall, but now Pride takes over and they want to get inside the time cap. Nicole Holcomb, who's competed here as an individual before, back up to the rings as she's being cheered on by Zach Souter, Emma Chapman, and Joseph Tortora, her 3 teammates.
Well, at least they're having fun out there. They're dancing around and laughing.
They're making the most of that experience for sure.
Oh, and Nicole Holcomb has that right shoulder heavily taped, and you have to think that obviously is affecting her here.
Yeah.
Rich Froning taking some time to sign some autographs and take some selfies, and he's going to add another gold medal to the collection here. This is what they did over 9 events. First, second, 5th, first, 4th, first, second, first.
Consistency at that top spot.
I mean,
I was trying to think of something clever and witty, maybe borderline sarcastic, but the only thing I can to give them the respect that they deserve is I can't even describe the domination that they just put on today against the toughest team field we have ever seen at the CrossFit Games.
Look, and all credit right now to Nicole Holcomb. There's no reason that she has to keep working, but she is continuing to try and finish this event.
Yeah, it's pure heart.
And just can't lock it out with that right arm. It looks like they're going to give her credit for the rep. So they're going to move on now to the barbell. The Central Beasts, they want to finish this event. Again, look, they've wrapped up 5th place.
Yeah.
And Joseph Tortora with a little homage to Josh Everett going with the split snatch. China Cho added to the Mayhem team this year, and she blended seamlessly with them. The team of CrossFit Krypton, who went through some different iterations throughout the season, and this one seemed to really work well for them.
Well, I'm going to touch on China Cho a little bit. They added her really late into the season. So for her to integrate with that team so quickly and so seamlessly, I think is a testament to her as an athlete willing to step in and roll and just kind of accept what the role is and kind of what she needs to be dictated to. And the overall leadership, I would say, from Rich Froning himself. It's what the team that he's put together, the way they train, the way they work. There's more to be said than just having good people on a team. It's how well you work together and how much time you guys have worked together that is being showcased here this weekend.
Yeah, and that experience pays off 100%. Being able to get together, being able to have time with one another, and be ready for a show like this.
Central Beast continuing to work through these final 60 repetitions. Margo, look, I know it's early and we haven't even started next season, but did your experience here on the team competition possibly motivate you to come back and give it another try in 2020?
It's tough to say because I know my individual time that door is closed, but team obviously opened up after Rogue, and we talked about it a little bit there. Being here with the team was a lot of fun, and the team dynamic we had was an amazing experience. So we'll see if there's something in the future to be happening. I can't say yes or no to
So
that.
you're saying there's a chance.
Yes.
I'd certainly love to see you back in the team side of the competition. And you got a great send-off at the Rogue Invitational. What was that like for you as an individual to end on that note?
That was an amazing experience. Thinking about it just gives me chills in my body because I was so grateful for the community and the people, and being there with everyone was by far something that I will hold high in my heart.
2.5 minutes till we hit the time cap, and Nicole Holcomb is gutting through this right now. As she and Zach Souter are trying to complete their final 30 repetitions and get across the finish line there. Again, there is pride in getting inside the time cap.
Exactly.
So Zach did 10 in a row and walked forward. I wonder if he's going to try to hang on to the bar the whole time.
I have a feeling he might try to attempt that, and I think he's close. He has almost there. Oh my God. Oh, that was close.
I heard the do it chant starting to rise up from the crowd.
Yeah.
All the teams over there to help cheer on the Central Beast, who will finish 5th overall here at the CrossFit Games.
I love that community effort, everyone coming together to rally for that team or that individual on the floor still.
Less than now, about 80 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. Cole Holcomb and Zach Souter, and if they manage to get themselves across the finish line here, they're probably going to get the loudest cheer that you've heard in this heat from the crowd at the Coliseum here at the Alliant Energy Center.
I see it coming.
50 seconds remaining.
We're almost finished.
10 reps to go. We got less than 40 seconds. This crowd wants the Central Beasts to finish. And it's now all on the shoulders of Nicole Holcomb.
I want to tell them to like raise their hands so everyone stands and yeah, there we go.
Where's Cole Sager when you need him?
10 seconds for Holcomb. This crowd just trying to will her to finish. 2 seconds to go. And it is close, but just not enough. But a fantastic effort from the Central Beast. But Rich Froning and Mayhem Freedom. Domination from start to finish. And their 4th championship.
Congratulations to them.
Rich Froning, Dre Strom, China Cho, and Tasia Persephone from the start.
I just like the way they set their team up, and it's what they're not just physically capable athletes, some of the best in the sport from team to individual across the board, but the way they are as tacticians. Tacticians with not ever knowing the event all but maybe 30 to 45 minutes prior. I mean, think how worse this would have been if they knew what the events were going to be. It wouldn't have made it better, it wouldn't have made it closer, it would have made it so much worse.
More time to think about and analyze, and sometimes having that short time frame is actually better.
Now 10 medals are going and belong in Cookeville.
Big win for you. It's been a long week, a long weekend, many events, and you guys are all Games veterans. You've been working together on this for a while, but this was a very different event than we've seen in the past with cuts and with fewer events and with everything that you've seen. How was this experience different for you from previous years?
I think it was way tougher. I mean, the caliber of teams out here, with the new rules, there's just 14 well-rounded teams, and it got cut as we went, but the best competition, I think, from a team standpoint so far.
That's great to hear. And take me through the weekend a little bit. Was there an event that particularly stuck out to you as one of your favorites?
Favorites or hurt the most? That rope climb worm thruster was a doozy. I thought that would be my favorite event of the weekend, and I think that one hurt me the most.
Maybe that's the same thing for some people. Maybe. Looking ahead a little bit, I mean, you guys have been doing this for a while. You've been doing this together now for some time. Do you continue to train together? Do you change anything up given what you've learned here this week?
I mean, I think we all of us minus one are moving on to next year, and then we want to keep competing, and the game plan is to win again. That's always the game plan.
Minus one, what does that mean?
Dre's retired after his 1 year.
One and done.
One and done.
Well,
out on top.
Congratulations, great job this week, guys. Nice work.
Dre Strom going out a champion. And there is now a roster spot open.
I have never lost at the CrossFit Games ever. Dre Strom.
It's not a bad thing to have on your resume. We have our team champion, Margot. Thank you so much for being with us to call this final event. We appreciate you stopping by, and we hope that, unlike Dre Strom, that you are back
Thank you.
at the team competition next year. Let's check out the final standings here for the men, for the teams, I should say, as Rich Froning exits the floor, signs some autographs, and celebrates his 8th championship at the CrossFit Games. 4 as an individual, and now 4 on a team. And those phones are now 50% fitter by just being in his hand. Mayhem Freedom by nearly 200 points over CrossFit Krypton, I should say. Invictus, they take 3rd. OC3 Black falling short of getting on the podium. They take 4th, and the Central Beast wrap up 5th place overall.
Here's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And I think we've seen this over the years. We've seen Rich have a massively dominant individual year where you've hundreds of points between. And then the next year, the competition rose to the occasion because they saw what it took to train at the level of Rich Froning and to be a champion. We saw it on the team level when Mayhem first came on the scene and then got beat and then retrained and refocused. So I'm hoping these super teams now see that it's not just about the caliber of athletes that you have, but you're gonna have to get together, train together if you want any chance to keep pace with CrossFit Mayhem. Because you don't, I don't see them ever losing until all of these guys retire.
Doesn't look likely. We're gonna go to break. When we come back, we'll get you set for the final events for the individuals. Stay with us here on the Rogue Iron Game from the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games.